Hi guys. Today I'm going to talk about an interesting concept that today made me really think of some really cool things and really be able to go back in my life and actually have some epiphanies, and hopefully that can happen for you. So I figured, okay, I'll share it. So I was listening to an interview that I've probably listened to about 10, 15 times, which is it's an interview between Anthony Robbins and Wayne Dyer. And it's a two-part series. It's on Power Talk. I'm sure on YouTube you can look it up. It's definitely worth a listen. If you listen to it 15 times, I don't know, but I like it. It talks about so many different things, and I'm a huge fan of Wayne Dyer. I also love Anthony Robbins. So if you like either of them, it's really cool and a really authentic interview, and I really liked it. But today I was thinking about one of the points that Wayne Dyer had made in the interview, and he was saying that we all come into this world as children picking our parents. And it's interesting because I always come from an angle where I feel like that kids come here to teach us so much, and they come here with so many gifts. But I think it's a really unique and cool thing to think of it in the sense that kids come here picking us and what that whole thing means. So in my life, I can definitely say that I feel 100% certain that I picked my parents and that I picked the parents that I needed for my life. And it's interesting because while my mother's very strong and she's very hardworking, and she's somebody who could have easily picked a victim role and didn't, my father, on the other hand, was somebody who abandoned 6 children and left my mother by herself to raise us all. And so you might wonder why I would say, I definitely picked my father for sure, because I see it that I'm at a place in my life right now where the fact that my father did that and abandoned my family, and I haven't even spoke to him to this day, since I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. It's interesting because I can see that that's a lesson that I needed to have, was somebody to really hurt me, and for a way for me to cultivate the idea of forgiveness and to transcend through things and to move through and push through without falling into the trap of questioning if it was anything to do with me or if I was inadequate. And not to say that I have not done that, but the fact that those challenges were presented to me were things that inevitably were part of my path, so that I could now teach other kids about self-reliance and forgiveness. And so I'm under the certainty now that I definitely came into this world picking my mother and picking my father, and how that in fact has benefited me very greatly, and to the sense that now I'm in a position to where I find a lot of gratitude for that. Truly I do, which I think sounds like crazy to some people, but if I saw my father today, then I would have really nothing but gratitude. I don't know what would happen beyond that, but I know that things are in a place for me that I'm actually really certain that that was part of my path, and that happening to me and me picking that parent and me picking him as my father was something that somehow I must have known, or must have understood that was going to break my heart, but that was going to make my heart in a new type of way and create a new type of person out of that. And then you extend this on to maybe your kids, right? So let's say that my kids came in here picking me, and I definitely feel like that there's something to that. And so while I don't really know my son all that well, because he's only 1 year old, and I don't really know his dreams or his goals, or we don't have really language to express it, I know a lot about my daughter, and I'm getting to know her. and her personality and all the things she wants in life. And it's so cool because I do feel like she kind of needed to pick me, and that she came in here picking a mother just like me and needing a mother just like me, for the good and for the bad. But maybe for a good point, I feel that maybe she picked me because she's like really bold, and she's really just, you know, sensitive, and she's really you know, she's somebody who's gonna do really big things, I think, in ways that not everybody does things in. And I think she's gonna be someone who is just big, you know, it's just like a big personality, like a big type of person. And she's going to need me there to like embrace that. And I feel like maybe if I had had a different life, I wouldn't be in a position to do it so open-heartedly for her. So I think it's interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about. If you came into this world and you pick the perfect parents, which from what he's saying, it's like we all do, because it's all in you know, it's all in harmony. We really do pick our parents. Then maybe you can go back and decide why you pick them. Why were they your choice? I think for the good and for the bad, or perceived good and perceived bad, of why we make those choices and what that does for us. So it's an interesting concept to think about. Regardless if you believe it or not, for me it gave me some really powerful things to think about, and some really, you know, great conclusions that I came to. And I think it can bring you a sense of peace and like permission to say, okay, that's, you know, that's what I chose. I chose that. And what now? What did that do? And I think that's where healing really can start beginning. So maybe think about it. Decide, who are your parents, you know? Why'd you pick them? What kind of things did you need to get? And have you got it yet? You know, how long will it take for you to get it? And, you know, I hope that it just gives you something to think about, of if what you chose, or maybe your kids, you can look at them and decide, why did they choose you? So pretty powerful stuff. Thanks.